Baby chicks, baby chicks, baby chicks, baby chicks. Hey, Shadow, you're such a cutie. Hey, I wonder, when is it that they're no longer baby chicks? When is it that they finally like grow up to that point that you're like, hey, now they're not babies anymore? It's a very interesting concept that I just wonder that, do we question that with our own selves where we're just constantly like, when is it that I finally made it, that I'm no longer a child, I'm no longer an adolescent, I'm no longer a young man, now I'm a man or a woman? When does that shift actually happen? Does that happen with age, or does that happen with attitude? My name is Mark Anthony DeBose Jr., and I was born July 4th of 1986. And today, let's talk about a word that is very, very interesting to me. A word that is just very, very powerful to me. A word that if I would have utilized this word in my life, I wouldn't have ran into as many sticky situations that I've been into, that I would have been able to overcome a lot of said drama in my life and been able to overcome a lot of the sticky situations that would continue to come to me. And that word that I want to talk about today is boundaries. Boundaries, like not the boundaries of this dog can only stay in there and he's staying in there and he's in that. That's just, no, I'm talking about boundaries in the sense of you and me and us making sure that we are taking care of ourselves and not making sure that we are coming into someone else that's trying to force us to do what is it they want us to do. Boundaries and such as when you say, I'm not comfortable with this, and you say to that person, I don't want to do this anymore. Even though they're just pushing, they're like, please do it, please do it. They're begging, please do it, please do it. And you have boundaries on saying, no, I don't do that. I don't affiliate with that. I don't like that. I don't like how I feel when that's going down. Where you have the courage and the willing, the know-hows to be able to just say, no, I don't care. You're not going to be able to convince me into this. Boundaries in the sense of making sure that when you have something to do, you got somewhere to go. And you tell that person, hey, you need to stay away from this. I got something I need to take care of. I got something I need to handle over here. And it's going to take me a little bit of time. And when I'm done with it, then we can do what we can do. And that person decides, you know what? No, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm just going to make sure that I push myself into doing what it is that you're doing, force myself there, make myself be involved with it, and just be there in it. When you got to have boundaries to say to that person, no, I'm doing what I got to do over here and you stay over there. Boundaries in the sense of making sure that when someone is just bleeding, begging, pleading, there we go, pleading and begging about what it is that they want from you, what it is they want to see from you to do, the changes that they want for you, the changes to help groom you into what it is that they're looking for. Boundaries to say that I'm not that, I'm me. I'm myself, and I'm not going to be anybody else. I'm not going to change into anybody else for you, because that's only going to set me up for failure, because that's not who I am. It's not what I'm about. It's not going to be a long-term fix. Boundaries is something that I feel like a lot of us just neglect when we start to talk to other people, when we start to try and integrate ourselves into relationships with people, where we just decide that, you know what, that person is awesome, that person is great, I could do that for them. It's different with them. They're a different person, so I'm cool with that with them. And we run into situations when we do that because we start to transform into what it is that person is wanting us to be, wanting us to do, wanting us to act like, when that has nothing to do with who we actually are as a person. They're trying to change you. They want to change you into something that's going to, say, benefit themselves, not the world, not the universe, not society, not anything, but just themselves. They want to change you into being them. So they're going to start to break your walls down of your boundaries. They're going to break them all down. If you even had any, you might not even had any. That personally with me, I feel like I didn't have any when it came to certain relationships. They were able to just walk on in like there was nothing there. They could just walk in as opposed to me trying to walk inside of this. This is a little complicated to be able to break into this. Imagine being able to break into this fence here. Now that's a little more complicated to try to break into that. Where we need to at least be able to have our boundaries to the point that it's like a 6-foot privacy wall that you can't quite see over, but you can kind of see in, but you can't. You're not jumping over that. The other side of it, you might be able to, where I could jump out. But for you to jump inside to get into my area, my territory, to start changing me, doing with me, and using me and abusing me, you need to put a little bit of effort into there. Where my boundaries weren't that. My boundaries were enough for you to just walk right through that. I was just a good word is, I'm going to say, gullible. And easy is another good word. And very easily, gullibly manipulated to be able to do things that anybody would want me to do, that I would just agree. I'd like, yep, let's do that. That's cool. That's awesome. That I didn't have high enough boundaries set to make sure that I was blocking away some things, making sure that I separated myself to make sure that I'm doing what it is that I need to do so that I'm not transforming into what that person wants me to be and what that person is needing from me and what those people want to force me to start to be a part of. That I needed to really take a good hard look at myself to start to really try to figure out what it is that I've been messing up with and what it is that I've been challenged with and what it is that I need to say grow up with. Where I asked that question earlier of when is it the time that you finally are no longer a child? When are you no longer a baby, from a child to a young child to an older child to a man? When is it that that shift actually starts to happen? And for me, I don't feel like that shift for me started to happen until just recently, few months ago, when I started to really get a good understanding of what I've been messing up with and why I've been struggling so much and why I've been challenged so much and why people are able to just use me so much and why someone could just say one word and I need to be there, I need to be on it, I need to say it, I'm just all there on there. Like they just had such a pull on me that you could say one word to me and I would just instantly do whatever you wanted me to do. And I felt like that's something that is a concept of life that you're not grown up yet until you're able to just start to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, doing for you. That people aren't able to just say a word, give you a speech, even not say a word, even to that extent where they don't even speak, they just say ignore you, and that still affects you. That still drives you crazy. When you send them something and they just don't send anything back, and they don't call you back, they don't do it, and it drives you crazy. You gotta just whatever. You ain't part of my life. If you don't respond back to what I say, I don't care. I don't want nothing to do with you no more. We gotta have boundaries set to make sure that we are able to do what it is that we need to do and not sit here and keep on doing what other people are trying to mold us to do. Because when other people start to control you, when other people start to mold you, when other people start to groom you, you start to run into a very sticky situation because they start to take you away from who you actually are as a person. And for some of us, it happens at a very, very young age of being a baby. That they see that baby and then they want that baby to be a specific thing for them, a specific purpose for them, where they already have it in their mind of what they want that baby to be like, act like, do like, and function like, without allowing that baby to just be what it is. Not allowing that child to just grow up to be the child that it needs to be and wants to be, but you wanting to force upon that kid to do what it is that you want them to do. And for that, I'm going to say, get a dog. Because you could do that to a dog. You could convince a dog to hang with you all day long. You could convince a dog to stay at the house all day long. You could convince a dog to do whatever it is that you need them to do. But for a child, for a human being on this planet, we need to be very careful that we are not trying to force anybody or anything outside of dogs and animals are fine. Anybody to do something that it is that you want from them, you need from them, that you would like to see them to be. Because you are setting that person up to be something that they don't even realize in the end who they are. And then you run into a very sticky situation where I feel like there's a lot of people today that say this, that have this concept of life, and not even just what people say, but just based on the research that I do and the studying that I pay attention to, of just seeing what you're watching the most and what you're desiring the most, and because I did a whole change up on my YouTube feed to try to get some new information, some new content. Some new content came to me that let me know a lot of people are struggling with boundaries today. That you are very, very much struggling because you don't know who you are. And you're not sure who you are because you've been told and taught to be something else. And then after a while, you start to grow up and you start to get to the point where you're like, I kind of want to be independent. And you try to do that said mask that everyone has been telling you to do and trying to be like. And then you realize you're very unhappy very fast. You get really, really, really unhappy because you run into the situation that you are acting, you are trying to do something that you're not actually, that you're not about. You're trying to do something and be someone that you don't even know who you are, because you don't know how to do on your own outside of what those people taught you, what those people are constantly teaching you, what those people are constantly reinforcing to you to keep on doing and keep on being like, keep on acting like, and keep on just constantly being over and over all day long. Where you're not yourself. You're not who you are, your own self. You're what they told you to be. You are what they made you to be. And you run into a situation where you start to try to make decisions and you don't know how to make decisions. You start to make choices on, something basic. What do I want to wear? What do I want my clothes to look like? That you start to run into, hey guys, hey Oreo and Johnny. I see what you're doing, but I don't need that right now. Let's get down. Johnny, down. You start to run into situations, Johnny, down. You can chew it while you're down. You start to run into situations where you're like, what kind of clothes should I wear? What kind of image should I look like? What kind of haircut should I have? How should I keep my facial hair? How should I keep my leg hair? How should I do all these things? Where you start to run into I say leg hair, that's for females mainly. But you start to run into situations where you're not sure what to do. You're just constantly like, should I this? Should I this? Should I this? Should I that? Should I over here? What? Ooh, but that's cool over there. That's nice. But what about this? But what about this? You just don't know because you've been doing what that person has been wanting you to do. But when you start to get away from them, you start to realize like, I don't have to do that anymore. And actually, in reality, I didn't like that because that was just damaging me. That was destroying me. That was putting me in absolute massive level of frustration. So then when you start to get out and do your own stuff, you start to realize your boundaries is jammed up. That you've been allowing everyone and everything outside of you to be able to dictate and tell you what it is that you need to do and want to do and have to do. That you have no inside of you to know how to take care of yourself in any sort of way. That you start to get very confused with everything. I mean, you can get confused with everything with a certain type of people that start to groom you and manipulate you to start to be a specific thing for Johnny down. That start to be a specific Johnny down. That start to be a specific thing for you that you don't even know what your name is. You don't even know what your gender is. You don't even know what your skill sets are. You don't know anything because they've been telling you what you can do and what you are and what you're all about. That when you start to get away from that and you start to do some different things, then they kind of just look at you like, whoa, what? You know how to do that? You know how to do it? It's like, yeah, I've been knowing how to do that. But I just couldn't do that because whatever you has been surrounding us and doing for you and taking care of you has been telling you that you can't and you can't and you can't and you're not and you're not and you're not and you don't and you don't and don't and just constant no's. Constant no's to you that you were never able to actually grow up to do anything that you wanted to do because your boundaries weren't high enough. And some of us, and just me, because of certain sticky situations that I've been in and just having a good understanding of myself that I don't want to run into sticky situations the same way, that my boundaries are no longer a 6-foot privacy fence that I feel like we should all just at minimum have. I had to overextend mine, unfortunately. I got like a 25-foot wall on mine that you can't see through it. And at the top, it's got a hot wire that if you touch it, it's going to shock you to fall back down. It's got 10 feet of concrete underneath it, so you can't dig under it, the tunnel under it. You're not getting through this. And it's an unfortunate circumstance and situation for me to have to get to that point, because then that puts me in the other side of a situation where my boundaries are too high, where now I'm looking for something, trying to be around something, trying to be something that other people are not able to influence at all. Where sometimes I'm going to say that's needed, because we've been beat down too much that we gotta just add some instead of just taking more and more and more away. Because I do notice that sometimes, just in my life personal, just when someone would break me down, well, someone would destroy me, I didn't come back in with a higher set of boundaries. I actually came back in with the lower set. I lowered it, and then I lowered it again, and then I lowered it even more, and it got worse and worse to the point that anybody was able to do whatever it is they wanted to do to me. They could just say a simple word to me, and I'm like, yep, I'm on it. I could do it. I can make that happen, and that set me up for absolute failure. I mean, absolute, not failure, but more of frustration. Frustration to the point of feeling as if I'm not being seen, I'm not heard, and I'm not able to do what it is that I want to do. And I'm just, a good term is settling for less and less and less, and getting worse and worse and worse, and being in worse and worse. And if you want to put it even in the sense of relationships, just getting worse to the worst relationships. Going from just crappy to just, I can't say that word, to I can't say that word. Just worse, you know what I'm saying. Go worse and worse and worse. And it wasn't a situation of helping me out, because my boundaries were just getting broken down. Instead of me taking the opposite direction of allowing me to build my boundaries up after getting out of a sticky situation of saying, no, I'm not doing that again, and it's going to be harder to be able to get me this time, that I didn't go that route at first. It took me a while to be able to get to that point. And that's why I would want more and more people to have a good understanding of the whole concept of the self-worth and having more inside of you. And something I want to read today is from the book of, I think it's just the 1 Peter in the 3rd chapter, that it's really interesting to me today of reading this, because it's something that I feel like we run into situations and we said lower our boundaries. We make ourselves be conformed and listen to what other people have to say. And a lot of that has to do with, like, this just passage right here in the 3rd verse of this is 1 Peter in the 3rd chapter of the 3rd verse. Your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles and the wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. And that's something to me is just very, very, very interesting, because it's I feel like we run into sticky situations because we put value on something that really shouldn't have much value on this planet, and we're pursuing things on this planet that are absolutely destroying us, because we're not looking at what it is that their true self is. We're looking at a fake reality, a fake mindset, a fake being, a fakeness of a person, to be able to try to make themselves look to be something. But then when you finally do start to get in closer, and that's where the boundaries are required. It's mandatory to be able to live a very nice, solid, complete life on this planet, because they start to, this is the concept of what they do is, they break yours down, and then you come in. And then you come in looking at the beauty. You come in looking at the nice things and the nice hair and the nice gold and the fine jewelry and all the nice clothes and all the nice stuff. And you get into theirs. And then they start to build their boundaries up to the point that you can't break out. And you can't break out, and you're stuck, and you get stayed in theirs. And then now they've got you, because now you've broken down, because you've already given up on yours. You've already given up on yourself. You've already said to yourself, I'm meaningless. I don't need nothing. Or I need you. I can't survive without you. I can't do anything without you. So you put yourself in. So they destroy your boundaries. They destroy your walls. And then you move on inside to theirs. And then they start every single week building and building and building and building, to the point that you are not couldn't even consider breaking out. You are stuck. You are stuck on stuck. And if you even think that you're going to have a possibility of even trying to escape, they've got worse than electricity at the top. They've dug 20 feet for concrete. They have walls that are so high that you can't leave. You can't get out. And if you even think about trying to leave, you end up running into the situation where a lot of people run into, where you start having thoughts of trying to harm yourself. You start having thoughts of trying to harm other people. You start having thoughts of just worthlessness. You start having thoughts of envy. You start having thoughts of jealousy, because you can see out though. They don't have a privacy wall where you can't see through, where that's how mine is now. You can't see through mine. So you don't know what's going on with me. You don't know exactly what's going down. But they have one that's clean, and you can see right out. It looks just like this right here. You can see out, but you can see what everyone's doing. You can down. You can see what everyone's doing. You can see where everyone's going. You can see what everyone's buying. You can see all the smiles on people's faces. You can see it all. But there's just no way impossible for you to even think about getting out. You're stuck in there. You're stuck in there to the point that the only way you're going to get out is, in reality, death is the only way that you're going to get out. The way that they are consuming you, the way that they are pushing themselves upon you, the way that they are forcing themselves for you to be for them, that they're building so high around you that you're stuck. And that's why you get jealous, and that's why you get envious, because you can see the outside of what's going on, but you aren't able to have any of that. You can't have that possible. You are stuck where you at. And if you even think about leaving, they're going to use and do everything in their power to just absolutely destroy you. They're going to do everything in their power to make sure that they use and abuse you in any way. They will have extra kids of yours. They will do more. They will infiltrate your entire family. They will just do everything to make sure that you are stuck, you are meaningless, and you are worthless to society, and you are just for them. And that's something that I feel like a lot of us really need to figure out what it is that we're doing. And one really good test to make sure of what it is that if you're stuck in a situation like this, where you feel like you're stuck and you don't know how to get out, is to start to put your own boundaries up, that you can put yours up inside of theirs, to say, you know what, I may be stuck in yours, but I could do this on my own now. And you're not going to be able to tell me what to do. And I'm going to tell you right here, right now, that's going to drive a person like that insane. It's going to drive them crazy. It's going to make them really want to give you a whole lot of pushback, a whole lot of slandering, a whole lot of just rage is what it is. And that's the way to be able to test, especially for us single people out here, how to be able to test people out, to be able to figure out if they're going to be a good fit for you or not, is to put up your walls and tell them, no, you can't do that with me. I got this right now. No, I'm not here right now. You got to wait later on for me, and I'll be available at that time. No, I'm not going to be able to do that because I don't feel comfortable with doing that. When you keep on saying that word no, that's how you really start to test and challenge some people on this planet, is constantly keep saying that word no to them. Say, no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to go there. And see how they act. See what they do. See how they respond to you. If you say no and they're just like, oh, okay, well, when can we? You're like, hey, man, we should talk. We need to chat it up a little bit. But if you say no and they have this like trying 5 hours to just get around and beat you down and say, oh, why this and how come that, and begging and pleading and trying to look cute and trying to dress fancy or dress not so with no clothes on, or trying to do things to convince you to do some stuff that you just don't feel comfortable with, you're going to realize that that person is not looking out for the best for you, that they're just looking out for the best themselves to get what they need. And then when they do that, what do you think? That you're going to be that one? No, you're just one of many. And you don't want to ever deal with that. You don't ever want to be in a situation with that. And that's why we need to make sure that we have boundaries. Boundaries aren't just with relationships, but boundaries with our children, boundaries with our parents, boundaries with all of our family, boundaries with friends and all the relatives and all the co-workers and all the people that are around, that you need to make sure that you are doing something very, very specific to keep people in their said place, to make sure that they are not manipulating you to start to changing you to make you do something that they need from you, that you need to make sure that you're doing what you got to do. Because if you're not, that's how we as a people start to really lead to absolute frustration, because we're not able to do what it is that we want to do. We're not able to make happen what it is we want to make happen. We're just constantly doing what other people want us to do, and that is not going to be able to get you to be a successful person on this planet, where you're just going to be a slave. And slaves, in reality, they sometimes think that they have a great life. They sometimes, hey, Oreo, yep. They sometimes think that they're doing good. They sometimes think that they're free even, but they're not. They end up in absolute destruction because they're not able to freely do what it is that they need to do. And some of us need to be around some people to be able to say, help us, guide us, push us, get us somewhere. And that's where I'm going to say that you're not going to be looking for a person to be able to do that. You're going to be looking for an organization to be able to help you do that. That if you struggle and don't know how to even shop to get clothes, if you struggle and don't know how to get your own detergent, you don't know how to cook anything, you don't do anything like that, that's where church should help you out, should be able to do something for you, so you can get yourself around a group of people that aren't going to judge you, that aren't going to try to downgrade you, aren't going to try to make you feel stupid and defeated because you don't know how to do some things, because you've never been taught and introduced how to do it. And some of us, we haven't been taught certain things because they know that it's going to slow you down. They know it's going to limit you to having to need them. So they don't teach you some stuff. And this goes to, sometimes, unfortunately, it goes as deep as parents, where your parents just don't teach you things. They don't teach you how to take care of yourself. They don't teach you how to take care of to take care of anything that you need to do. They don't show you how to wash yourself. They don't show you how to do your clothes. They don't show you how to clean your room. They don't show you how to cook nothing. They don't show you how to shop for anything. They don't show you how to pay no bills. They don't show you how to do nothing. They don't show you how to get no work. They don't show you how to do no work. They don't show you how to stay dedicated with work. They don't show you how to work because you got to work and you don't get a choice to work. They don't show you nothing. They don't do anything because they don't ever want you to leave. They always want you to stay with them. And they have this thing inside of them that's just it's treatable, people. But you got something in where you just feel like you need and you can't be without. You can't have without. That you don't know how to survive if you don't have that thing with you. That you don't know how to that child. You don't know how to I mean, some people use this with dogs. This is why, for the most cases that I see dogs that are going absolutely savage, I know exactly, Johnny down. I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly what's happening. I know exactly down. I already said it, sorry. Down. That's fine. I got a leash on me. Sorry, give me 1 second. I gotta reinforce this real quick because he thinks that he don't need to listen right now because of what I said. Down. That's fine. Down. He's being a butthole right now. That's fine. Nothing with adding another training session in the middle of my work to make sure that I reinforce this, because I want these dogs to be not perfect, but perfect with what it is that I do, with what it is that I ask of them, with what it is that I demand of them. That, I don't know, it's a very, very interesting situation how I am with my dogs. That I'm a dog trainer, so my dogs have to look better. I guess that's kind of the main thing that I have to say about it. All right, let's get down. And but something that I noticed that it's just treatable. But the main thing is we hold on to these kids and think that we do everything for them as like trying to say help them out. But the only way that you can really help a child out is to push them off, to push them away, to say, you're done. You should be 5 years old. You should already know how to work. You should already know how to cook. You should already know how to clean. You should already know how to take care of yourself. You should already know how to do some stuff. And then from there, you just keep pushing them out, pushing them out, pushing them out, pushing them out. But we have a problem. We got a big problem where that's not going on. And that's not happening, and they're not teaching us stuff. They're not teaching you how to do some things because they just want to keep you for themselves. And that leads to a huge problem in say society, because now you just have a person where that brings me right back to the beginning. How do you know when someone is finally an adult? What makes an adult on this planet? What makes an adult in society? What makes a person finally classified as I've passed my childhood and now I'm an adult? And for me, I just feel like that's when you are able to start to, say, contribute and give back to society to be able to do something for them. Not just working a meaningless job at a fast food place, but actually doing something substantial to be able to help out someone in a very sticky situation, and being able to learn a skill set to be able to make sure that you can help out someone that's struggling is something that you're really, really good at. And I feel like that's kind of like a start of having a good understanding of when you're really starting to grow up, and being able to do that. I know for men and women it's different, but I'm a man, so I don't know nothing about no women, so I don't really care to talk about women. But I just noticed for dudes that we end up in a situation where we stop caring so much about what another guy is doing and what another guy has and another guy says, that we start to just make happen what we need to make happen and start to do what it is that we need to do, and not focused on what someone else is able to just steer us away from doing what it is that our mission is on. That they're able to say some words and we're able to say, oh, I quit. I don't want to do this, though. I want to go and do that. Where that's for dudes, we need to make sure that our boundaries, our walls are looking like this. They're stacked up. They're not so small down here like that. That they're stacked up to make sure that we stay focused on what it is that we need to get done. That we stay focused on what it is that we need to continue to keep working on. And we don't have anybody that's able to just come in and with some pretty hair and smells good and it could just steer us away and stop us from doing what it is that we're doing. That I feel like that's a stepping stone of making sure of where we are. And then for me, just having a good understanding of knowing who God is and what God's all about, that is another time to be able to let you know when you're really starting to grow up, when you really dedicate yourself to God, when you really have a whole lot of faith in Him, and having a good understanding that He's here to take care of you, and here to make sure that you're good to go, and here to make sure that you can upgrade your life with Him so that He could do some magical things for you, and for you to be able to push His message along, to be able to share it with more and more people, and feeling confident in yourself with being able to say that, not feeling like you believe in God. No, but stand up and say, I believe in Jesus, and this is just what it is. And being very, very strong about it, being very, very firm about it, and being very, very knowing about it, and researching and studying it, and knowing it, and having a very, very good understanding of who God is, who Jesus is, and who you are. And I feel like that's another stepping stone of being able to make sure that we are doing good and making some stuff happen. And also at the same time with being able to be by yourself and take care of yourself, and not needing the inputs or outputs of anybody else, to just be able to take care of your own self with no matter what. When some sticky situations comes, you figure it out. You just get past it. You deal with it. You make it happen. You go out, you get your apartment, and you figure it out, and you make it happen, and you do whatever it takes to make that happen, and you stop relying on people to be able to take care of you, to do some stuff for you. And I feel like that's another stepping stone of being able to figure that out. So I feel like a lot of this really doesn't come down to what you look like, and what your age is, and what you smell like, and how pretty you are, or how handsome you are, or any of that. It's got nothing to do with any of that. It's got nothing to do with status, or where you are, where you're located, what family you came from, and it's got nothing to do with any of that. It's got something to do with your mindset, and being able to make sure that you've got boundaries set in place to be able to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and doing what it is that you need to get done, and not allowing people to just come in and start to just destroy you and take away from you and make you do some stuff that you don't feel comfortable with. And I feel like that's probably one of the biggest, the massive, the hugest boundary and realizations that we need as people on this planet, is making sure that we are not allowing people to come into our homes and making us, when I say homes, I mean just your body, not your actual house, your home, your house, but your home, your body, your being, your essence, your mindset, your creativity, yourself, your God's spirit, you. When someone comes into you and starts to change who it is that you are, when you allow someone to come in and just start to say some words to you and just get you shucking and shaking and make you feel like you got to start doing that now because of the words that they said to you, that they are able to say words and be able to get you off your game of doing what it is that you need to do. And I feel like that's something that we all need to be very, very careful of, making sure that we are taking care of ourselves so that someone else isn't taking you away from who you are and what you want to be, because that's going to set you up for an absolute life of failure, because you're going to start doing some stuff that you're going to realize that's not actually who you are. Where I ran into a situation myself where I just felt like I started to become a person that I didn't want to be, but I was doing it anyways because I felt like that's what I needed to do, because I felt like I was missing something inside of me to be able to get me to move forward on this planet. And that missing something inside of me was the feeling and the need of having to have somebody, having to constantly have somebody. And for me, it just kept getting worse and worse. It just kept going downhill with the next person I would look for, and the next person I look for, and the next person I look for. That things just weren't getting better. That I was running into that situation, and when you run into that situation, you find that same person that comes in that just wants to just take you down a little bit more, to control you a little bit more. You just come into that next person, Johnny down. You just come into that next person that just wants to control who you are and what you wear and what you sound like and what you smell and what you watch and what you do more and more and more. And because you just have this need inside of you where I need, and I can't live, I can't be without having somebody with me and having someone. And you start to lower your standards. You start to lower yourself. You start to lower your being when you start to run into that situation. And you start to run into a very sticky situation because you start to mold into being what that person wants you to be, and it's not you, it's who they think they want, and they make you be that. And then that's where you get really confused, because then you get confused with who you are as a person. You're not even sure who you are anymore. You're not even sure what you're about anymore. You're not sure what you like anymore. And that's why for me, it started to all my videos that I still and just have to continue to say that my name is Mark Anthony DuBose Jr., because for a very long time, I'm going to say majority of my life, I don't feel like I even knew who that was. I didn't feel like that person was this person. It's still strange to me, because I still am not 100% out of everything that's happened to me. That's still strange to me to watch myself, to hear myself, to say, hey, that's you, that's me, that's me. It's very, very weird, and that's how much I've allowed people to be able to control my world and been able to steer me away from being myself, and steer me away from knowing who Mark Anthony DuBose Jr. is. And that's something that I'm going to say is very, very dangerous, because I didn't know who I was. So that means that I didn't know what I was supposed to be able to do. And then when I started to just break away and get away, I ran into a very, very tough situation of not knowing at all what to do, not knowing what kind of pants to get, not knowing what kind of food to eat, not knowing what to think, not knowing what kind of TV to watch, not knowing what kind of anything to do, because everyone was constantly telling me to do this and do this and do this and do this, that my life was just on autopilot with what other people wanted from me. And once I started to get away from that, and I started to put boundaries up and have walls around to say, no, you guys are no longer allowed to influence me like that anymore, I realized I ran into a very, very lonely, very destructive, very lonely situation. And that's something that I just feel like I notice, and I see that around with a whole lot of people, where you're feeling like you need something so bad that you will lower all your standards, you will drop all your walls, you will have no boundaries, you will just conform to do what it is that they want you to do, because you just have this I need so bad inside of you. And that's something that we really need to start to take a good hard look at, and start to really just dig deep with, having a good understanding that we don't need to live that way at all anymore. Today, right now, anymore. That if you feel that way, if you feel stuck, if you feel trapped, if you feel like this person is constantly doing stuff to you over and over and over, and they're just kind of just making you just stay in it, making you stay around it, doing everything that they just know how to push every single one of your buttons to just make you move and make you react and make you do something instantly, that you need to start building up a little bit at a time, to start to get yourself to be a little more firm on this planet, to be able to start taking care of yourself. And that's something that is not easy. It's not something that's simple. It's not something that just overnight you lean into it and get there. It's something that is constant work, that you're constantly building on yourself, working on yourself, doing something with yourself, to be able to get yourself in a place, in a position, to be able to make sure that you're able to take care of yourself and be by yourself, and be able to manage yourself, and being able to say no to people when you don't feel comfortable with some things. And that's probably one of the biggest major things that we as a people really, really, really need to start to just dig hard with and stay firm with ourselves. If something is making you uncomfortable, just, I'm not a part of that, and I don't want to do that, and I'm not going to deal with that. Not that you're going to go out there and destroy them. Not that you're going to go out there and slander them. Not that they're going to go out there and do anything to them, but you're just going to have a good understanding that I don't want that, I don't agree with that, and I'm not a part with that, and I'm not affiliated at all with that. And just go and do your own thing. And don't worry about what the backlash from them is going to say, is going to do, is going to be about. Because it's even for me, I'm going to get backlash because of what I believe, that I believe in Jesus Christ, that I know today, people are just like, oh, that's okay. But I can already hear the language, and I can already see the language being shifted and changed already. That there's going to be a time, not soon, but hopefully not, probably not even in my lifetime. But my kids, 2 grandkids down, I think, somewhere around there, they're going to have an issue with saying that term, saying that word, having the understanding that God is real and God is awesome, that it's going to be a very, very sticky situation, that you're not going to be able to just freely walk around and say that someone's going to physically do something to you if you say that. So for me, just what I believe in, I already know that I separate myself from a whole lot of people out here. That even today, I already separate myself from a whole lot of people. But I can't allow what they all have to say to me to get me steered off, get me broken off, get me jammed up with what it is that I need to stay focused with and I need to do. That I got to have boundaries up. And those boundaries need to stay firm. They need to stay strong, especially one of the major things that have your boundaries set for, and never allow someone to just be able to talk you out of and talk you away from, is having your boundaries set up high to the unlimited amount for God. Making sure that your boundaries are set to the absolute max. I mean, to the max that it's going into space and it's going into the core, that nothing can penetrate someone being able to deter you away from having a good understanding of who God is, what God's all about, who Jesus is, what the Bible is all about, what the Bible brings to us, and what the information is to be able to help you and guide you to be a better person on this planet. Where that book has information, it's a manuscript, a manual to be able to how to take care of us, how to make sure that you're good to go, how to make sure that you're not hurting, how to make sure you're not struggling, how to make sure that you eat what foods to eat, how to have relationships, how to take care of kids, how to take care of coworkers, how to take care of disagreements and issues and matters like that. It's a manual for all of that. It's a manual for life. And it's something that you got to make sure that your boundaries are stacked up so high with that can't nobody come in and even possibly think about cutting you off, taking you away from that. And that's one thing for sure that I just know, and I just have a very good understanding of myself today, of something that I stay dedicated with, is something that I stay firm with, and something that every single day I keep building more and more and more, that you're not going to come and take that from me. That's me. You can say all you want, you can do all you want, you can throw me in jail all you want, you can do whatever you want, but that's me. That's what I'm all about. That's what I'm focused in, and that's what I understand, because it's been able to get me to the point that I'm at, that I can sit in a room and I can sit in silence and I don't go rambling and going all crazy no more. That I've got something I can dial in on, I got something I can focus in on, and something I can make happen to know that I'm good to go and I'm awesome and everything is awesome out here. And that's something that I want more and more people to really just put a little more concentration in, put a little more faith in, and realizing that the more and more faith that you put into God, the more and more that you're going to start to have a better life on this planet, because you're not going to allow these people from the outside to be able to change you, to do something for them, for you, from you, and start to do this stuff to you, that you're going to be able to take care of yourself. You're going to be able to manage yourself. You're not going to feel as if you have to do something, or you're not going to have it, or you got to take this one here now, or there's not another one. And a lot of us run into that situation, especially when it comes to like relationships with the opposite sex, where you that one girl is there and she says yes, and you think that that's the only one, when it's like, hold on, look around. There are there is an unlimited amount of people in reality on this planet, that we can't even possibly all meet everyone at the same time even our lifetime. We're not. You're like an extremely lucky person to meet over 1 million people in your lifetime. And that's a fraction of what this world is. So there is an unlimited amount of people out here for access, that if that one didn't work out, don't try to force yourself to try to think that you got to make it work. Just move to the next. There's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one. And that's the whole concept of why our Bible is so awesome, and why our Bible says that don't be touching them all. Because if you're touching them all before you get married, then you're just destroying, you're messing yourself up, because your boundaries, your walls is just destroyed at that point, because you're going to be very, very confused. And that's why there's specific rules like that in there to make sure that we are good to go, to make sure that we aren't emotionally destroyed. Because when we do get one, if it doesn't work out, you don't have anything really invested in other than some conversation and some time spent. You just move on, and you move on, and then you move on. But if you're touching every single one of them, you're going to have emotional baggage, drama, damage that's going to happen to you. That's just going to make you feel like, I got to try a little bit harder, because you're in it at that moment. And that's why this Bible is awesome. This Bible isn't here to destroy our lives, to try and make our lives what's a good word? Stupid and sad and not fun and not any of that. It's here to make sure that we are good to go, to make sure that we are successful, to make sure that we are taken care of, to make sure that we don't have any bad thoughts coming to us, to make sure that we are on a path of righteousness. And righteousness not meaning that you're just the best of the best and you're never going to have any bad things happen to you and everything is going to be perfect for you. Like, no, that's not at all the situation that's going to happen. The situation is that you're going to be taken care of in the eyes of the Lord in a way that you don't have to worry so much about all these bad things that are out there, that you have something to focus on, something to dial yourself in on, to be able to make sure that you're not you creeping, homie. Get down. To make sure that you good to go, and to make sure that you're not struggling, you're not worried, you're not anxious, you're not paranoid, you're not any of that. And all those terms right there are terms that you would definitely be anxious, paranoid, irritated, and stressed out if you're constantly just touching every single person out there and then just letting them go, and touching every single person and letting them go. You don't have any boundaries. Your boundaries are just destroyed if you're a person that wants to keep on doing that, because you don't know who you are, and no one has actually even told you who you are. And that's for someone to have to come in to be able to explain that to you, that you are awesome, you are great, and you are very, very powerful, and you don't need to be under the rulership of someone to be able to get yourself to be able to do something, especially today, and especially where we live, and especially if you live here, and even in most of all the world in reality right now. We don't really live under rulers too much, that we do have freedoms to do what it is that we do, even in the country of China, that everyone talks about them so bad. But when you actually look at the people, that there's the rich and the poor. It's the same here in America. We got the rich and we got the poor. The poor just try to make it themselves look fancy, because the rich allow us to have credit, to be able to give us some things, to keep us poorer and poor, and make us look like we're not so poor, where the Chinese just don't have that. They just look poor, and they just have what they have, because if there was no credit, if there was none of that, and it would be a very interesting thing to see how everybody actually really did live. If there was no credit to be able to buy these houses, it'd be very, very interesting to see how the majority of people in America actually really, what their money really could do, and what they really would have, and what their assets really would be if we didn't have that. It would be a very interesting situation to be able to be a part of, because that right there you wouldn't have people living where they're living, driving what they're driving, and wearing the accessories that they're wearing. And all of that, based on that even simple Bible verse that I was just reading, is something that's very, very clear, to have a very, very good understanding of. All that just don't matter. Don't stop worrying about that. You got to worry about the person, and the person is the thing that really matters, of what it is that they are, what their character is like, what are they focused in on, what are they dialed in on, what are their beliefs, what faith do they have. And that's something that we really need to start paying more attention to, as opposed to the stuff that they have and the stuff that we think that they can provide to us because of the stuff that they have. And that's something for me that is just very, very powerful, of making sure that we have boundaries set in place, and being able to test our boundaries and test other people to make sure that they are someone good that we want to be able to allow into our space, into our field, into our energy, into our being, into ourselves, to be able to have relationships with. And that comes to everything, not just intimate, but friends and everything else, work and everything, that we need to make sure that we're testing and challenging people to, are you good enough to be able to come inside, to be able to get close to me, to be able to give me the information that you're giving me? Because a lot of people out here are just trying to give you information just to destroy you, just to make themselves look better. And we want to make sure that we stay away from that, that we stay very, very firm, clear away from that, that we're not going to ever be able to just run away and they're not going to be there. We just need to make sure that we don't allow them to come in and get close, to be able to make you change and do what it is that they want them to do, that they want you to do for them. That it's fine for them to stand there, but it's not fine for them to be able to make you just, okay, I'll do it, I'll move, I'll make it happen now because you said so. No, you say, I'll get to that, I'll make it happen, and I see what's going on here. And you need to be very, very firm about making sure that your boundaries are set up in place, so that these people aren't able to just manipulate you and use you and do with you as they please. And with that said, want to say thank you today. Today has been a very interesting day. I had a winterproof, I guess I winterproofed it up. Winterproof up my baby chick coop and put some walls all around it, so it's all pretty much solid at this point. So it's super nice and warm in there, and that I'm not really 100% sure why I didn't do that in the first place when I put them in there, because when I go in there now, I'm like, y'all definitely needed this on the first couple days when y'all in there, but they all survived and they're all good to go. So I guess I shouldn't worry too much about it. And the baby chicks in there are doing what they're doing. They're growing. They're getting bigger. They're getting a little more. They know that I'm the one that's bringing the food now. They're no longer running away scared of me. That when they see me, they come running up to me and they're just like, "Hey man, you got some food?" I'm like, "I sure do. I got this food for you guys." So it's starting to, our relationship is starting to change a little bit, of them being scared of me to being more appreciative of me and looking at me as their source of good and greatness. And that's something that's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool to be able to see and be able to be a part of that. That's a neat thing with animals, to be able to watch them grow up and watch them get into these different stages of life to be able to keep on cruising. And for me, just me being me, having a good understanding, knowing that that's my food, that's my food source right there. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure I take care of them and make sure that they're good to go, because I want to make sure that I'm eating some very, very nice food, not food that's just irritated and pissed off and stressed off, but food that is just like appreciative, and food that is just clean. And it's something that I'm just so thankful for to be able to have, and thankful for to be able to be a part of, and thankful for the situation that I'm in, to be able to make sure that I can keep watching them grow and keep doing what it is that I'm doing for them. And today I'm just very interested and very fascinated with the concept of this word boundaries, because I've been getting a lot of videos about it and a lot of information about it. From yesterday, I was thinking about it. I came up with a word and I said that word, and then I somehow just disappeared. And then it just came back, and then it came back in full force again this morning with something that was like, Mark, you gotta talk about your boundaries, because it's something that used to jam you up. And I just greatly appreciate the information, the insight that comes to me when I really get to thinking about some stuff, and really get to thinking about my life, and thinking about things that I should have did, and things that I do now that I notice that are different, that don't get me in sticky situations that I used to be in, that I used to be messed up. I used to be confused all the time. I used to be irritated all the time. I used to be really mad a lot. Mad is probably a really good word, and it's something that I realize that I'm definitely getting away from. That I don't have all that going on anymore. And I've been studying my own self to figure out what it is that I do today that's different, to not allow me to get into that anymore. What is it to me today that is different, that when I talk to somebody, that I'm just like, yeah, okay, that's not going to work out. I'm not even gonna deal with that. That I can cut it out right away, instantly, without having to feel like I gotta go in it, figure it out, and allow them to just do what they do. That I could just say, yeah, that's not going to happen. So I've been studying myself, and that's one major thing that I've noticed that I've been able to gain, and that's through the grace of God and reality, that He's given me a sense of self and a sense of boundaries to be able to make sure that nobody is going to be able to get me to go away doing from what it is that I need to do, and going away from making happen what it is that I need to make happen, especially with me having a good, firm, 100% belief that God is real, and getting me to get away from that. That alone has been able to keep me very, very solid. That alone has been able to keep me close to my Bible, to allow me to know what it is that I need to stick firm with, what it is I need to stay with, what it is that I need to commit myself with, and what certain rules are that I need to live by, and what some of the guidelines that I need to live by, to be able to simplify my life, so that I'm not just running around crazy. I'm not just guessing, should have this, should have that, is it this and is it that? I just know, bam, right there it is, like a bam, right here it is. Everything's just figured out for me. Everything's already written out for me, to be able to have a very, very good understanding of how to be able to read it, and how to be able to know how to be able to live a nice, simple life without feeling confused and feeling anxious and feeling worried and feeling any of this stuff. So I have something to be able to live by, and it's an absolute blessing to be able to have that, and it's a blessing to be able to do what it is that I'm able to do on a day-to-day basis, and that's something that I realize has been able to help me be able to have and be in the mindset that I'm in, and God has been able to do that. So something that I noticed that He's given me when I really started to have more and more faith in Him is the idea that is the concept and the idea of having boundaries and putting up walls, to making sure that nobody is coming in here trying to take me away. No one's coming in to try to make me do what they... You good, Johnny? You good? No one's coming in to try to make me do something for them. No one's coming in here trying to make me change for them. No one's coming in here trying to do any of that. Then I'm trying to just keep on growing and being more of myself. That every day, unfortunately, for living my whole life, I felt like just under the control of people. That every day today, I just start to really learn more and more about what I am and who I am and what I want to do. And a lot of that even comes through a lot of these videos that I have, to just be able to watch myself and say, whoa, that is you, man. That is your voice, man. Like it still is, I'm going to say it's strange to me. It still is weird to me to see myself and watch myself and have a good understanding of what I am. And a lot of times, like, I rewatch myself to just really get a good idea of, like, that is you, man, and you do want to do that, and you do want to focus in on that, and you do want to dial that in, and I'm starting to just learn more and more about myself and learn more and more about what it is that I need to do. And for me, a lot of my help and a lot of my growth has been able to just do these videos and be able to put this out there for someone else to be able to see, and for me to be able to see, and I realized that, because at first my whole plead was just I just want to do this and I'll watch it later myself and not publish it, but that wasn't what the design was behind this. That the design was to make sure that someone else can possibly be able to see and hear what it is that I'm talking about, so that, because I know that we struggling, and you've got a lot of the same problems that I've been having in my life, and if you hear me talk about something that's been going on and how I've been able to get through some things, that, you know, maybe you could be that one person that who don't need a million but would like that, but just that one person that decides, see, I don't want someone to follow Jesus. I want someone to learn how to be, how to become, how to get closer to God, how to really, really dial it in, how to really, really make it happen. Not just be on the surface, on the outside about it, but actually like dedicate your life to it and really get your life in it. That I don't want all these people around that are just wishy-washy with it, that I can be that person to be able to say something to you, to just let you know that life is real. This is real out here. This isn't no fairy tale. This isn't no fake stuff. This isn't no, you rub the genie and the wishes come out. And no, you got to put in work to be able to get some stuff back that you want. You got to gain some skills to be able to get the things that you want. You got to put work on those skills to be able to get what it is that you want. And there's some stuff behind this. And that's something that you're able to really do that. You're able to really make that happen when we have a good understanding of who God is. And if just one person is able to get to the point that I'm at today and get even better and get away from a lot of the destructive stuff, then I feel like my mission on this planet is in motion. That, Johnny, you just go and pee on camera? My mission on this planet is going forward, that I'm doing exactly what it is that I need to be doing. That in the beginning, with me just recording and putting it to nowhere, would be very, very selfish of me to not show what it is that's going on, not being able to explain some things on the way that I think about it and the way that I see it. That in reality, more and more of what I'm doing is only going to just keep getting better. Hey, Oreo, get out of there. Is only going to keep getting better and better, because the more that I keep speaking, the more I keep learning about myself, the more I'm going to be able to have a better understanding of how to be able to communicate better and be able to speak better to more and more people. And I'm just so thankful to be able to be a part of this. I'm so thankful to be able to be out here and make this happen. I'm so thankful that I'm able to still be very consistent. I'm so thankful that everything is still working for me. That my upgraded internet is working, and my upgraded thing here is working, and all my stuff is working. Everything is working. Everything is going smooth. Everything is happening. My editing stuff is getting there. It's starting to happen, and everything is just starting to come along. That I'm thankful for being able to be consistent with what it is that I'm doing. That I never had something in me to say, you have to do this and do this. I don't have anybody over my shoulder saying nothing, but it's something inside of me that says that I want to do this, and I want to stay at this because I want to get better at something. And I want to get better at a few things on this planet, but one thing that I really want to get better at is being able to communicate with people. And being able to do this has been able to help me do that. And I know there's some other people out there that had that same thing inside of them, but they just don't really know about it yet, because you've been beat down so much. You've been having people tell you your whole life that you're quiet, you're shy, you're meaningless, you got nothing to say to nobody, you're pointless. You've been told that over and over. And I'm telling you that that's not who you are inside, because you know it, you feel it, you got it inside of you. You're just like, no, man, that's not right. That's not who I am. But you just keep living that because you keep staying around the same people. Hey, Ori, all done. You keep staying around the same people. Go home. you keep staying around the same people that are just constantly keep reinforcing all that to you. And if you stay around those people for long enough, they're going to convince you of that's what you are for the rest of your, go home, that's what you are for the rest of your life. And once you start to break away from those people, you're going to start to grow up and start to be something completely different, and something completely different on your own. And it's for us, our own selves, to just break out and make that happen. That we're not going to allow someone, we're not going to be able to allow someone to be able to do that for us. That we got to just make it happen ourselves. We got to just get out there and just do it. Just figure it out. And for me, and I don't recommend this to many people, but for me, that was joining the military, that I had to do something because I was headed on a dangerous path, a destructive path, that I was like, I got to do something for myself. I got to do something for me. I got to do something to just move me and grow me up right here, right now. And I enlisted in the military, and I was gone in not even 10 days. And that was something that was off the top of my head, instant thought, instant feeling, and I do not recommend this for anybody. Don't do this. Military has some cool perks and cool things, but you sign your life over to the U.S. government, and they have the rights to be able to, unfortunately, to end your life in reality if they want. They can put you, and they put me in sticky situations where a lot of people passed away where I was at. That it was very, very unfortunate, and they put us in a place that we shouldn't have been in. Is almost like a experiment, I guess I see, to see how much a human being can take, and it was disturbing. It was very, very disgusting. But I do not recommend that for anybody. But for me, what I needed at that time was that, and it worked out in a favor for me, to be able to set me up to be able to have what I have out here, to be able to do what it is that I do out here, and to keep on cruising, to keep on moving. And I'm very, very grateful for that, and I'm beyond grateful for that for myself personally, because I've been through some tough situations as a kid. I've been through some challenging situations as a kid, and the military to me was just it was nothing. It was nothing. And even through the basic training and all that stuff, that those guys that try to be yelling at me, it was day one. They all left me alone because I just gave them that look like, dude, you ain't got nothing like my daddy got. Like, you ain't nothing. My daddy is beast mode, man. You guys are like little baby kids. He's a grand master. Y'all ain't nowhere near that. And I never got nothing from none of those guys because they knew they didn't need to break me. I was already good to go. I was already dedicated. I was already on time. I was already clean. I was already had everything in order. Everything was always right. I was always everything was good to go. And they had nothing to say to me. But I know a lot of us don't have that. That foundation growing up, that my dad gave me that foundation of making sure that I'm on time and I'm there and I'm doing it and I do what I say and I get done what I got to get done, and I put my feelings aside and I just force myself to make it happen regardless. And he gave me that foundation to be able to make that happen. I'm totally, extremely grateful for that, of how he was with me and what he's been able to teach me and what he's been able to do for me. And with that said, I'm gonna head on out of here because it's starting to, the temperature is really dropping. It's crazy how it changes just fast out here. Like throughout the day, it does this wishy-washy thing all day long, and it's something that is super exciting but super annoying at the same time, because that's the hardest part for the animals, and that's the hardest part for me with these baby chicks, because it's just trying to keep them warm from the fluctuations. And it's been an exciting trip with this, and I'm super grateful for everything that's out here. And I'm gonna head on out of here, and I hope y'all have a great day, great morning, great evening, great afternoon. Hey Shadow, man. Hey Shadow, you can come say hi. Shadow, he deep in an inch right now. He doing what he's doing, but you'll see him again on another time, and he's such a cool dog. But I hope y'all have a great day, and do what you got to do to start building your boundaries up to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and not allowing people to just keep on using and abusing you. Thank you. This boy is so cute. When I tell him to go home, he'll make his way all the way in there. Such a good boy, Oreo. Yeah, you are.